In this podcast episode, Ben Shapiro discusses the current situation with Vladimir Putin and his aggressive actions towards Ukraine. He highlights the fact that dictators like Putin can hold the line even as democracies start to fade, which is a theory that has been proven throughout history. Putin's recent actions, including the invasion of Ukraine and the killing of political opponents like Alexei Navalny, show that he is settling all family business and feeling emboldened to do as he pleases. Putin's territorial ambitions have been a consistent theme throughout Russian history, with leaders measured by the amount of land they control. This ambition has led to conflicts with the West, as Putin's interests do not align with those of Western nations. Despite attempts by past U.S. administrations to reset relations with Putin, he remains a formidable adversary with a focus on expanding Russian influence. The current situation in Ukraine is a major concern for the West, as Putin's actions threaten not only the sovereignty of Ukraine, but also the stability of neighboring NATO countries. The West's response to Putin's aggression has been divided, with some on the left and right offering different theories on how to approach the situation. However, the lack of unity in the West has only emboldened Putin to continue his aggressive actions. Putin's strategy of outlasting the West is based on exploiting internal divisions and weakening the resolve of Western powers. The lack of strong leadership in the West, particularly in the U.S., has allowed Putin to push the boundaries and test the limits of Western tolerance. The economic sanctions imposed on Russia have not been effective in deterring Putin, as he continues to escalate his actions without fear of significant repercussions. The recent death of Alexei Navalny, along with the arrest of his brother and an American citizen accused of treason, highlights Putin's ruthless tactics in silencing dissent and opposition. The murder of a Russian pilot who defected to Ukraine further demonstrates Putin's willingness to eliminate threats to his regime, even on foreign soil. Ben Shapiro continues by discussing a political activist and investor who wrote a book about facing down Putin after being targeted due to his business partner's death in a Russian prison. The activist suggests enacting legislation to confiscate frozen Russian bank reserves for the defense and reconstruction of Ukraine, but there are concerns about potential consequences on the American dollar. Shapiro also mentions the need to back dissidents and increase American oil and natural gas production to punish dictators like Putin. Shapiro criticizes Joe Biden's handling of foreign policy issues, particularly in Ukraine and Israel. He points out Biden's lack of clarity and decisiveness, which has emboldened America's enemies like Russia, Iran, and China. He highlights the split within the Democratic Party over supporting Israel and the impact of Biden's weak stance on global conflicts. Shapiro discusses Biden's declining popularity and the challenges he faces in his re-election campaign. Polls show Trump with a lead over Biden, and Shapiro emphasizes the importance of Trump curbing his behavior to secure a victory. He also mentions Biden's strategy of highlighting Trump's alleged craziness as a key campaign tactic. Shapiro criticizes Trump for discouraging mail-in voting, which could potentially harm Republican chances in elections. He advises Trump to encourage his supporters to vote through all legal means, including mail-in ballots. He also points out Trump's unnecessary comparison to a murdered Russian activist, which could detract from his legitimate grievances against the justice system. Shapiro discusses Trump's appearance at SneakerCon, where he promoted Golden Trump sneakers and received support from attendees. While the media may mock such events, Shapiro believes they won't have a significant impact on Trump's campaign. He emphasizes the need for Trump to focus on strategic messaging and avoid unnecessary controversies. Shapiro highlights New York City's controversial decision to provide migrants with prepaid cash cards worth up to $10,000 each. The initiative aims to address food wastage in migrant shelters, but has raised concerns about incentivizing illegal immigration. He also mentions a video showing migrants attacking police officers at a shelter, underscoring the challenges faced by law enforcement in handling immigration-related issues. Shapiro discusses the left's continued assault on the Supreme Court, particularly in the context of expanding the number of justices. He criticizes progressive efforts to pack the court and undermine its independence, warning of the long-term consequences of such actions. Shapiro emphasizes the importance of upholding the rule of law and preserving the integrity of the judicial system.